Hey everyone, this is Wooby Thinks, and today I am showing you Star Renegades. It's an indie, kind of turn-based RPG, roguelite-ish thing that was released about a week ago, so mid-September. As you can see, the art style is super cool, so I'm going to be showing you a little bit of gameplay today. I played maybe an hour or so far, just so I could get a feel for the game. There's some pretty cool things that I actually really like. So to start out, you get kind of plopped onto a planet, and you can see there's these different islands, sections of the planet, like here, whatever. So you can kind of look around the planet and see, oh, I want to get this equipment crate, I want to get a credit crate, I want to get food to heal myself, whatever kind of thing. And you have to kind of plan your strategy because you have a finite amount of quote-unquote days before you go and fight the main boss. The main boss happens to be right here on this planet. So with that, I am going to... That's a common crate. This area is about to be on lockdown. See, this happens, so that's basically like get there or get square if you want whatever's over here. I don't know if I'm just going to head this way because I don't really... Well, actually, no, I lied. Sure, let's go this way. I don't know what that Imperium defense does. So when you get to one of these bridges, you can see that little combat symbol in the middle right there. It says breach. It'll use up one of these charges on this little robot right here. I'm not going to really explain the story. It's kind of generic. I'm not even sure what the story is, to be honest. What you should know, though, about the story is that there's a lot of humor in this game, which I really appreciate. Like, my main character was talking to this robot dude, and she was like, what are you going to do after the battle's over? And he was like, oh, you know, all robots recycle themselves in order to reach, like, a higher plane or whatever. And she was like, what do you think you'll be recycled into? And he was like, I don't know, a smart toaster. So there's, like, cheeky humor like that. But let me show you a battle so you can really see the kind of meat and potatoes of this game. I think the battles are the best part. And if you like the art style, obviously the art style. This is new. I haven't seen tutorial stuff in a while. Both your heroes and enemies start in a set formation. The frontline enemies can be hit by any attack. Oh, this is like an extra layer on combat that I wasn't aware of. So the front line essentially protects the back line. And then there are attacks that you can attack anything. Okay, makes sense, sure. So, can't get into every detail, but let me explain some of the highlights. What you see here is a timeline, right? So this is when this guy is going to act, this is when this guy is going to act, this is what this guy is going to act, and it shows you above their characters, like this guy's going to auto-fire, shield slam, if you hover over them with your mouse, or you can use the controller. I've actually been using the controller. You can see who they're going to target, so this chick is going to get walloped, this front chick. You can see her health bar and shields are flashing, which means that that's the amount of damage she's going to take. So in theory, this game is actually very deterministic, and the game even says this game is deterministic. So you can scroll through enemies, see if they're weak to anything, and see stats if you know about them, and all that kind of nonsense. So, meat and potatoes, like I said. So, you have all these attacks here that I'm scrolling through, right? And you can see as I'm scrolling through them, her little character up here appears on the timeline depending on how much time her attack takes, for lack of a better term. So you can see slash is a normal attack. It says normal right here. She ends up right here. If I do a heavy attack, which is cleave, you'll see I go past all these three guys, so they get to do their actions first, right? So hypothetically, I'm not going to do it right now, if I was to use slash, it would show that it's going to crit, because in this game, a crit is basically you attacking before the other person, and you can see the crit bonus that you get if you hypothetically do that, right? So I'm not going to do that right now, because this guy, I have two robots on my team, I always get them confused. See, this guy, for example, he has something called Discharge, which is an AoE, but you can see what's happening is because he's critting, or attacking before the other people, or the bad guys have a chance to attack, you can see that their positions on the timeline will actually move back. So I'm going to do this attack just to show you, and you can also see this number, which I'll explain in a second, this 2. I'm going to do this AoE attack. It's going to hit all of them for 13 plus 7, 20 damage. It's going to do 1 armor, of damage if they have armor, so like this guy has armor, and it's going to knock them back 10 seconds on the timeline like you see here. And there's stuff I'm still discovering with this game, by the way, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Oh, I have to do all my actions, right? So you'll notice now these people have moved back on the timeline, right? So they got kicked back, which means I have more quote-unquote time for my other guys to do whatever they're going to do. So here's another example is if I use Blitz, which is a light attack, I can reduce this guy's defense and he'll do it immediately. You see how he... hold on, let me get back there. You see how on the top the enemy is moving and it says break all the way to the right? Because this guy does 45 seconds of delay, which is a ton on this attack. It doesn't do a lot of damage, but this is basically a way to stagger your opponent. When it says break, it means they're no longer going to attack that turn. So if I use this ability here, you see it says break. You no longer see him on the timeline because he's not going to attack this turn. So the timeline is kind of the key, unique differentiator of this game, I would say, in terms of the combat, and it's what, so far, and granted it's only been an hour, I've enjoyed, because I can tell the planets are going to be very samey. The story is cool, it's cheeky, but it's not like, oh my god, this story is amazing, kind of like a Hades kind of thing in a roguelite, I don't know. This is all about the combat system for me, and I think it's really cool, and obviously if you like the kind of retro art style, for lack of a better term. So you see now I waited for this girl to attack, because if I do my normal attack, it will theoretically crit this guy, right? You can see that because this crit bonus here is kind of flashing and lit up. I will say the combat UI is pretty good in terms of explanations once you kind of get a grasp of what you're doing, but the like inventory and things like that, the UI is very clunky, so I find that contrast kind of interesting. What I would love to do is cleave this guy. So let me act with my other guy first. Sniper mode. I just got this guy. I think your max party is 4, so attacks are slower, can reach anyone. No, I don't care about that. I just want to. Ooh, kill shot. Okay. So I'm gonna do a heavy attack with her. They're gonna get to attack first. It's fine, whatever. Because what you should see here, if I did that right, is, okay, see, his ability is called Kill Shot, and you can see above the enemy right here, it actually says Kill Shot, meaning if my attacks go through okay and there's no like healing or status effect or whatever, like if this were to play out as normal, he would die. So let's see. So that's the AoE. He's next on the timeline, the enemy. He attacked my girl for 56. This guy's gonna attack, and then, ooh, that was a lot of damage. Then I should kill him. Oh, that looked cool. Okay, so he did. All right, good. I was like, what? Okay, so you see it's round 2. The other thing, couple other things to note. Everyone has armor, or not everyone. Enemies have armor. My people have armor too. Armor, self-explanatory. It's like in any other game. There's shields that you have to whittle down before you get to their actual health, which is the red bar. Same with my folks, except my shields regen after every battle. My health doesn't, right? The other thing is the 3 and the 2 right here. That's how many times you can kind of knock an enemy back on the timeline before they're considered unstaggerable, if you will. So you can see I can knock this guy back 3 times. I can knock this guy back 2 times if I want. So you see this AoE is going to knock them back a little bit, and it's going to reduce them from 3 to 2, or this guy from 3 to 2, as you can see by the number, and this guy from 2 to 1. That's fine. I'll do that. And then this guy, that won't break him. You notice if I'm hovering over this guy, it'll break him. If I'm hovering over this guy, it will not break him, and I really want to break this guy. So I will go ahead and do that. This will break him so he can't attack. And now I just have to worry about that one guy. What is wing? Oh, I know it. deadly aim. Applies crit effect. Sure. All I want to do is... I think... Yeah, I'm going to cleave. This is my heavy attack, but see, I'll get it in before him, and he will break. Actually, that was... Can I even do that? I haven't messed with the backline thing yet. Anyways, the point is I wanted to break this guy. So I'm going to go ahead and crit this guy. You'll see. There's obviously status effects like bleeding that you just saw, and burning, and all sorts of stuff like that. I forgot what rattled means. I'm sure it's in one of the tutorials. Maybe it just means he's broken or can't be broken anymore. Oh, I killed that guy. I didn't even realize that. Okay, so see, this guy is way forward in the timeline because this is kind of where I punted him. And you'll also see the 0, so if I show you this blitz thing I've been using, which has basically been like my light attack, it's a super quick attack that allows me to just punt people back on the timeline. You'll see if I use this, it's no longer showing him moving back on the timeline because of that 0. Like, it's basically like, yeah, you've done your damage, you can't move him back on the timeline anymore, he's not staggerable, and he's gonna get his stuff done unless you can find attacks that will go off before him. So I should be able to. You see there's some abilities here, like free action does not end turn, so I'm gonna give that to her. I'm gonna AoE because he'll act before. I'm basically looking for stuff that I can do before he acts. Quick shot, fine. So he'll die. Notice if there's a tie, you go first, which is really cool. So victory rewards, you usually get DNA, which is essentially the currency for leveling up, and you get credits, which is where you can buy stuff from merchants and all that kind of good stuff. So, like I mentioned, credits are to buy stuff, DNA is to level up. I'm not sure what these two things are for yet, to be honest. What you will notice is since I went across that bridge and there was this little thing here, my little robot guy has 2 charges. That's how many, I guess, bridges or areas I can cross over to before the day ends. And like I mentioned, in 3 days, that big fat boss is going to come and I'll have to fight that boss. Like, it'll give me no choice. So it's basically like you can't explore the whole map, so figure out what things you want on the map and plan accordingly. Return to squad. At the end of every day, you do have, there's like a little camping feature in the game. Let me see if there's a... Yeah, here. There's a camping feature in the game where it's basically like you can heal your guys, and there's a relationship system, which is very, very surface level, which basically it's like you can play relationship type cards and unlock new like combo abilities between 2 characters and stuff. So there's camping, which is cool. And there's also obviously equipment. You can change your front line and back line. So you see here, if I click on her, for example, here's the equipment she has. And I believe it looks like the equipment stats are randomized, which I like, some people won't. I mean, that's... Here, I'm going to level up real quick, and you can actually see if you level one of these 3 up, because I have 25 DNA and this is how much they cost. You get that. You can actually see what will be gained if you level that character up, and obviously getting them to a higher level is how they can use higher level things. So I think I have like a level 4 thing in my, or a piece of equipment in my inventory. These 3 need to get to level 4 before they can use it, right? So what is Celestial Smash? It's an AoE and it does things. Sure. I will level this guy up, just because another AoE can't hurt, I'm sure. The last thing to note is this kind of has a nemesis system, like the Middle-earth Shadow of War games. If you've played those, great games, by the way. I actually like the first one, Shadow of Mordor, better, but I digress. So you can see here, this was the first planet. I beat all the dudes on the first planet. I'm currently on this planet right now, and you can see there's like these lieutenants and stuff, and if you have intel you can see their weaknesses, like this guy is weak versus concussion and antimatter damage and immune and resists certain things and everything. So you can obviously then see where they are on the map and plan accordingly. Like here is Carlos Pesker, so I can inspect him and toggle through anything I may know about him and all that kind of stuff. So again, you're just kind of going through these planets, battling. Like I said, I've only been playing this for an hour, so I don't know if it's more expansive. The first planet I played literally looked exactly the same as this, which I don't know. I can sense that this kind of exploration piece might get a little stale at some point, like after I don't know how many hours. What I still think is the best part of this game, by the way, is that combat system. I haven't really played a game with that timeline feature, and I do like turn-based games, so I think that adds a really, really cool layer of strategy. I don't know how much quote-unquote determinism people are going to use, like min-max in a game like this, so to speak. But I am playing, this is Star Renegades, I am playing this on Game Pass. Game Pass has been knocking it out of the park, by the way, and I'm sure you all saw they bought ZeniMax and stuff, so more games probably coming. But if not, I will post a link to the Steam page in my description. I think it's around 20 or 25 bucks. I'm not going to tell you if it's worth it or not, because I don't know how many hours I'll get into this game. What I will say is if I can even get 20-ish hours into this game, totally worth it. The other thing I will say is I believe this released on Switch. I have a Switch, and you know, I travel a lot and things like that, so I think this is for sure a game I would pick up for like 20 bucks on the Switch if there was travel allowed and there was a pandemic right now, because I think this would be a super good time consumer on like a plane flight or sitting in a hotel room or whatever. All in all, I'm enjoying this so far, and this is definitely a game that I'm going to keep playing. And hopefully the combat will keep it fresh and the game will introduce new things, and it'll be a hit. So with that, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.